Tonight on Kutsime.
If we allow young males to be sissies, we're going to get ourselves in a situation where the country is attacked and everyone's going to be like, I need a safe space. All the microaggressions.
Have you heard the phrase, it's a man's world?
Oh, 1,000 times.
To the point where they say a woman has to do it twice just to get it right.
It's that time again. Grab the crew and let's chat.
So you're leaving your son to be schooled by the internet?
I'm leaving my son to do exactly what my daddy did. Is that like, you know what, go work at Playboy, but don't let me catch you, right? You gotta be a boy.
What's up, you guys? Salibonani, Linjani, Dumelang, Makadini, Molweni, Ukhandet Meifru. Thank you so much for joining us. It is Kutsime, Aslanganeni, Let's Chat. I'm here with my girls, Natasha and Honey Boo Boo. If you are watching us right now, we want to just say thank you for your continued support. Remember to comment, like, and share. And if you haven't subscribed, there's a button somewhere.
Just press it.
Yeah. Click it, subscribe. We just really need your support. So with that said, ladies, are you ready for today's topic?
It's a topic that needs to be addressed.
Have you heard the phrase, it's a man's world?
Oh, 1,000 times.
To the point where they say a woman has to do it twice just to get it right.
Imagine. In 1995, there was a World Women's Conference that was held in Beijing, and it was damnation for humankind and the race of the male species, because women came out saying it's 50-50. Yeah. Now I have this right and I am equal to this. And there's some things that I really don't like about that, because yes, it's a man's world and women are running it, but I still feel like men need that voice. How many forums or gatherings have you heard to do with men? Men's conference.
Well, there's men's conference on the 14th of February. Okay, I think that's enough.
Okay, except that conference, except that, like a proper forum where men go and discuss issues the same way it's done for women.
I think that's in the church mainly, men's meeting.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But
everything
I do
else.
think when the church decides to empower the girl child, that's when we'll see the end to poverty. Just my thoughts.
When they empower the girl child. Now, I remember I did, it was most of like a project, but it was focusing on male circumcision, all right? So we went around Zimbabwe, literally, big towns, small towns, and we were talking about male circumcision. But somehow...
a woman came in.
A woman came in, something to do with the woman came in, and the next thing I was talking about cervical cancer.
Oh, wow.
What happened to the focus on, like, let's focus on the
one
men.
thing at a time.
Let's focus on one thing at a time. And I just feel like, yes, it's a man's world, but we're really not feeling that it's a man's world. So they face a lot of challenges in terms of toxic masculinity. Mm-hmm. From a young age, I actually noticed this, and I am, I'm mending my ways. Yeah. My son is 12 years old, and when he wants to show emotion, I tell him things like, don't cry, you're a man. You know, stuff like that. Yes. So when he wants to be open up with me, Mommy, this is what I'm going through, he can't do it 100% because I've told him...
Men don't cry.
Men don't cry, or
boys
men
don't
show emotion.
Yeah.
And then they grow up, 30, 40-year-old men who are tough like a...
Like a nail. One tough cookie.
I'm sure there's some household when daddy gets home, everyone runs away because daddy's so scary. And I think as moms and as women, we need to know that we play an important role in men's lives, an important role in our sons' lives, raising them to become, men that show emotion, men that express how they're actually feeling and not hide away behind, I'm a man, I don't cry. Because men do cry,
And I get you, Natasha, especially...
Wait.
Yes.
Text just what? You don't cry?
Men are actually very emotional. Very.
Do you cry?
Yes, I do cry. Okay. Not, I think. I'm not sure.
Would you cry in front of your wife?
Why not? If I'm in pain, I will cry. That makes me a man.
But that's from upbringing as well, yeah?
Yeah. Back to raising your sons.
True.
Like, I understand you guys. Like, I come from a home where there's only one male, and that's my brother.
Okay.
And my mom always took to us more than she did him. She was like, no, a man needs to sort himself out. He needs to learn how to hustle because he's going to be the provider. So he's like usually thrown into the deep end, whilst we'll go from the shallow to the middle part and then into the deep end.
So he had it tough.
Oh, definitely.
And what was his reaction towards you?
He's very,
Sisters.
what can I say? He's very dominant. Too dominant. Sometimes you're just like, no, Sean, take a step back. It's okay.
It's okay to be nice.
We have understanding. And he's like, no, I'm the man. And you're just like, no, boy.
Doesn't have to be like that.
Exactly.
It's actually quite painful. If you think about it also in terms of marriage, when a woman is being prepared for marriage, she's taken through from Tete Ningi to Ambuya Bazbanbani. And, you know, she's taught certain things. You have to do this, you have to do that. What happens with the man? Chucks, were you taken through a process where you were taught how to be a husband?
Yeah.
Very interested to know this one.
Yeah.
Oh, but you're from Ghana, right?
Same thing. You know,
Because
Zimbabwean, Ghanaian.
I don't know it. Like, I stand corrected. I don't know that.
Well, there isn't a certain time for this. I wouldn't say when you reach a certain age, then you're taken to the corner, you're taken to the pub, you're taken to the strip club. You know what I mean? It's a process whereby, as a father, you know when your child is ready to have that conversation. Same thing you guys know when your daughter needs to know about boys and certain things, you know? So there isn't a time or a certain age.
What was said to you in this preparation?
That was between me and my dad.
Oh.
Happy Mother's Day to all the single women out there.
But you're actually quite right. Like, especially like even when there's a baby coming, you know, the woman gets a baby shower, we have gender reveals now, you know, and they all rub their, like, congratulations. And the guys, they don't get a tap on nothing. Like, well done there.
Honey boo-boo.
I'm just saying, it's an
true,
example.
though. Have you ever thought of that? It's actually very true.
Yeah, the woman always gets, well done, congratulations. And
The
then,
daddy needs a rub too.
Exactly. Tap him, just a little bit.
I can't.
Just to come in there, in the business environment, you find that when a woman is a boss, okay, it's a difficult one for a man to chew, okay. But if a woman is an elderly woman, much older than her subordinates, which are males,
They'll
it's okay
respect
because
that.
then they look at her as a mother figure.
And mama.
But then when you're of the same age, you find the male subordinate is now asking, how is it that my boss got to this role? What qualifications does she have? And then maybe one day you have a bad day in the office, or the male drops the ball at some point and correction has to come in.
And then that famous liner, is it that time of the month?
Is it that? Do you know how I hate that? I hate that phrase. Is it that time of the month? Like, okay, so I can't show emotion on a normal day. I have to
There's
be...
another one that gets to me.
Which one?
She woke up on the wrong side of the bed today.
I think that one's a bit better to chew for me.
And then you get to Father's Day messages. Chucks, I don't know how you feel about messages that go around on Father's Day and it's passed on to single women.
Happy Father's Day to all the single women.
Yeah.
That statement. Yeah, I do understand what it means. Yeah, but you don't have to make a big issue about it. You know what I mean? We do know that there are some single women out there who are holding it down, taking care of their kids, got a good job they're doing. But you don't have to go, like I said, blowing your horn. I said it earlier on.
Yes.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Happy Father's Day to all the single women.
I used to like soak up that post. I would wait for it.
You joking?
My friend.
I've never seen it.
Hey, I would wait for that message. When did I get divorced? Sure, it's been that long. Guys, 7, 8 years, I don't know. And every year, just until maybe 3 years ago, it kind of like just washed away from me. I would wait for that message. And can I snack and Saka, you guys can't see the effort I'm doing with these kids. Yeah, but it gave me that you're doing good, urukugona, until my eyes and my mind were open. There's no way I can be a father. I can play a father role in terms of providing for the kids and all, but me, father, It's the Nigerian saying, Tofi akwa God forbid. Me, father, it's not happening.
True, I agree with you there. You know, even though maybe the father is not in the child's life, I don't think us as women should go out there and, you know, pass these comments that Happy Father's Day to me.
Yeah.
Because you'll never be a dad. There's things that a father will teach a child which a mother possibly could never do.
Definitely. I feel you're just taking away from the good dads.
Yeah.
That's true. So all of this in today's episode, we're talking the XY chromosomes. You know, when the producer gave it, I was like, oh my goodness.
What is
Back
this now?
to biology, physics. I was like, oh my gosh. But as we went into it, it got really interesting. When we come back, we give you, get a load of this, facts around the world. Get a load of this. Toxic masculinity, the cultural ideal of manliness by definition, is a narrow and repressive descriptive of manhood that over-glorifies certain masculine traits like violence, aggression, sex, and power.
Now get a load of this. In high-income countries, 3 times as many men as women die by suicide according to World Health Organization report from 2018.
As well as research has shown that toxic masculinity is the main reason why men are more likely to underreport symptoms of depression and other mental health-related issues.
And finally, there has been a significant increase in the number of women in the labor force globally, a total of 39.9% in 2019 and over 40% in most countries.
Hello, Zimbabwe, and welcome tonight to the show Kutsime Asihlanganeni.
Let's chat.
Guys are supposed to come in right there. We did this, we practiced this all day.
Well,
But anyway, it happens. It happens when people haven't had their makeup done. Honey Boo Boo, how you doing?
I'm doing great, pa. How you doing? I have had my makeup done.
I'm
I'm
so far away from being called Honey Boo Boo. Anyway, Natasha, how are you?
Natasha's right here. How do you do? Natasha?
That
Oh,
voice is
no, wait, hold up. Natasha's here.
You look terrible. But anyway, hello Zimbabwe. Makadini Munofara Ere Linjani, from wherever you're watching us from. We are so excited to be here. We know in the first segment you obviously were entertained by the ladies that took you through very deep issues with regards to men, XY chromosomes, the issues to deal with us as men. So we thought, why don't we bring a couple of guys and get to have conversations that affect men, conversations that as men we don't really actually get to talk about. But we're here today, opening up our lives, our very DNA, so that we can share with you the stuff that kills us, but we can never say. That said, my name is Maimba, spelled M-A-I-M-B-A, and I'm so excited to be here today. And on my right, I've got...
My name is Chief Koti, and Kowatanganedza, Rikotangana Afaka Kutsime. Evan.
Nda. You had to wait for that last part, right? And of course, on my left, we've got... he's known as a vendor-in-chief, but he's going to introduce himself.
I'm not vendor like Cody, but I'm a vendor like Tenges.
You sell vegetables?
No, what Dutch thing is.
Sell vegetables, cabbages.
Yeah, my name is Kudakwashe and I'm Rimrim.
Fantastic. So we've got a cross-section of young Zimbabweans who are here to have conversations with things that are very pertinent to men. And before we do that, we're going to go to something that we do every Monday, of course, which is a Kutsime Corner, where we get to get videos from everywhere across Zimbabwe. You send and you get to share your stories. And this is one story that we got from, we call him the Sangoma of the guitar. His name is Silent.
Hey guys, Silent Mo here. I'm a guitarist, singer-songwriter, musician, recording artist from Zimbabwe. And I'm here to share my story. So I'm going to try to be as quick as possible. So from when I was young, I was bullied a lot. So around white kids, I was the black kid. Around black kids, I was the darkest black kid, right? And the biggest. So I got bullied a lot for that. And there's something that happened to me when I was young as well, which is quite personal, and I'm not ready to share it. But yeah, it's that experience that I had contributed hard to what I went through. And then at some point in my life, I'm going to be really, I think this is probably the first time I'm opening up about it. At some point, I fell into drugs, right? When I was really young as well, because I was scared to speak out, you know, but I fell into drugs, and luckily I stopped, you know. And again, it just comes back to knowing from when I was young, I always heard girl child all the time. I never heard anything about the boy child. So already from when we are young, we feel obsolete, you know, and irrelevant, because no one really talks about men struggling with this stuff. So I just feel like if we have more facilities that help out boys and men to talk about abuse and stuff, and depression and anxiety and all mental health issues, if we have more facilities and support structures for that, I feel like the suicide rate would really decrease. But yeah, and I'm also going to tell you how I cope with this stuff. So I play my guitar. Right? My parents know. They know that when he's playing his guitar loud in his room, something is going on, you know. And my parents also really play a huge role with my mental health, because they ask me, they talk to me, you know. I literally consider my parents my friends. So I feel like you also need to talk to someone. Always. You always need to talk to someone whenever you're ready. And, you know, for me, I have good days and bad days, you know, good days and bad days, but I try to cope as much as I can. But yeah, we just need more support structures for men.
Hello guys, thank you for inviting me to your show. My name is Blessing and I'm 29 years old. I've been suffering with anxiety and depression, I think, for the past 4.5 years now, since I knew. In society, especially our black society, we haven't accepted that anxiety or depression is a condition which can affect men, especially African men. But then I found it not easy to open up to anyone about my condition. But through seeking help and talking to someone, I ended up opening up, and I am beating the condition for quite some time now.
Well, that's a very touching story from Silent Ngo and Havoc. Man, they opened their hearts to us to share their stories. And yeah, they really got me. They really got me. But you know what, guys? We've been playing around and messing in this house. There's a man of the house in this house. Do you know?
We forgot.
Chuck!
There's a man?
He's like, we're playing around. Where were you playing?
Hey, Chuck.
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good.
We told you're the man of the house.
Yeah, and glad to have you guys on the show. But next time, try to knock, you know. Don't just come in.
We sincerely apologize.
Apology accepted.
For not knocking into your house.
Okay, but, the view is better.
The question really is, was there a door? Zimbabwe, thank you so much. It's absolutely great to have you. I mean, we've just seen and gone through Silent story and Havoc story. And this is what brings us here today, you know, to talk about men issues. And quite recently, people were going through the PTSD challenge, or is it the PSD? Anyway, there's a PTSD challenge.
With the press-ups?
25 press-ups. And everybody,
I did it. You don't see?
You did that?
Can you see how much?
No?
Okay.
It's simply not working.
Anyway, I think let's just leave it there, you know. But obviously, the 25 push-ups challenge was dealing with issues to do with mental health, and today, like we said, we're talking about issues that affect men. Mm-hmm. And I know that you're a proud vendor, man. Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, I am proud.
Say that. What did you say? Nda? What do you?
Do you know what? People pay for me to say this.
Just say it.
Nda.
Nda. Sounds like a warrior, man. You know it. But that said, you know, you come from a very unique culture. Allow me to use a culture that is in the minority, if I can say that. Some might want to, of course, make a case out of that, but a culture that is in a minority. How do you deal with having to be a vendor person and go toe-to-toe with Shona people when you're looking for work, when you have to compete? Do you have to compete in Harare? Do you feel that as a people you are not given enough space? And because of that, is it possible that as a vendor people or any other culture that feels in the minority that they then have to battle, one, just being a man, and two, just have to deal with mental issues about fighting for space and recognition with Shona?
You know what, Maimba? It's a very touchy subject. Number one, we have to fight with the white guys. We have to fight with the Shona guys. We have to fight with the Ndebele guys. And then whoever else thinks they're number four. So you are essentially fighting for fourth spot. That's the reality of this issue. However, as a man, there's no time for you to think about that. You only think about it when this question is popped in. So did you feel this? I mean, there's one huge vendor person in this country who occupies a very huge office.
The vice president.
The vice president of the country. I mean, we have
also a huge vendor.
Yeah, we've had countless conversations over this, you know. And we've said, no, you know, our kind, we need to stick together. Our kind. But there's no kind.
But do you feel there's enough space, though?
The space, you gotta create it on your own. That's what I think. But I can imagine the level of inspiration that both me and the vice president have given to young vendors out there, you know. Anyone of our kind, if I may say that, can see and say, oh, well, this is a boy who went to Majini Primary in Sioka here. I mean, hey, you know, that's all we can offer, really. But we have found the path. It's a difficult conversation for you to have.
I want to take
young
you.
Men.
Let me take you. You work for Zimbabwe Tourism. You're a communications expert, and again, taking from there as a cultural perspective, being a vendor man. Do you feel that there's so much pressure on you to where you are now, in the corporate space you are, in the government space? Do you feel there's pressure on you to prove yourself?
There's always pressure to prove yourself. There's pressure to prove myself, first of all, as a very young guy who's just stepped onto the scene. And by the way, I don't work for the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority. I deploy my skill at the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority, so they don't employ me. Yeah. However, the issue at hand, Maimba, is that it's always going to be about the motivation that comes from inside for you to actually make it, despite all these other guys. And there's power in numbers, you know. So guys will come and group, and they start speaking Shona. So imagine if I was that kind of guy who didn't speak that language. Conference to Berlin, where busy marketing Zimbabwe, guys are just going to group and start speaking in Shona. The one or two will move from their Ndebele, you know, personas into, you know, to mix with the Shonas, and then they start rolling with the punches there, and their identity is gone. You gotta be strong enough to keep it going. However, it's such a difficult and stressful motion to go through on a daily basis. To say, I am a minority. I have to, I have to outshine everybody. I have to outwork everyone. Of course, it works at the end of the day because you then become the best at what you do. But it's something that comes from the discomfort to say, you know what, like what the vice president said to me. He said, "Asila malume la." You get it? Atina sekuru panapa esusu. You know, others have their sekurus. We don't. You know,
Pressure a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
Because for tires to move, they need pressure, brother.
But from a mental conditioning also, you know what I mean? It's stress that when you're working out, you need to stress the muscles, right?
But that said, ultimately, that said, here on the show, what we want to talk about is a country that's equal for everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're Shona, you're Ndebele, you're Venda. We want a country that is equal to everybody, equal opportunity to everybody. And today, this is why we're then saying that as men, as there's this saying, the girl child, how I just... Anyway, that's a different topic altogether. How I detest that particular girl child labeling, but we've never heard about the boy child. You know, I know that you're a father of a boy.
Yep.
And you're raising a young man in an environment such as this, as the Zimbabwe we have now. Very difficult economic conditions, the unemployment rate very, very high, I think in the regions of 85%, if not 90%. Everybody carries a card, a written CEO, and yet pretty much they ain't working. But so how do you raise a young man to... Going back, we're not going to go back to the traditional young man who was raised by our forefathers, going to hunts and being told that he has to bring home something. Right now, we have men that don't bring home anything because they're home already. How do you deal with raising a young man in a place like this?
Well, look, I mean, on a personal level, I'm trying to actually instill some of what people would consider toxic masculinity back into my son, because I think we as a people are here after many millennia of evolution, off the backs of men being able to be men, women being able to be women. And I'm not saying that in some sort of social construct type of way, but I do want my son to be able to hunt. I do want him to be able to be tough and so forth. And I think the reason why some of these major issues with mental health of males and stuff is coming into the fore is that we are telling boys that, you know, it's okay not to be tough. And I think, no, I want my, you know, I want to instill some masculinity.
Is it okay for him to cry?
No, of course it's okay for him to cry, but
at which point does he
cry? But just don't do it. Like, you know, just be tough.
Why shouldn't he cry if you're telling him that it's okay to cry?
Because the world that we live in is not fair. It's not necessarily a safe, sanitized space. It's a space that we're going to need if the village is attacked. We're going to need warriors. We're going to need tough guys who are going to be able to step up and do what our forefathers did to fend off predators, etc., and be male and be hardcore. Now, look, I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm trying to also be...
Don't you think this is the very thing that we're talking about now, where we are now having mental issues, where we have men that are told you have to be the warrior, you have to defend? All the words that are used are to a point of bravery, of raising men that have to be brave in the face
and
of
that's
everything.
Not bad.
And that's not bad.
That's not bad, Becky. I tell you why, Becky.
Whoa.
It's not bad. Let me tell you why,
Did you just call me Becky?
You know, it's not bad. Just not bad. Look, it's not bad for a kid to be tough.
Did you just,
you know,
Becky.
it's not. Call me Becky.
You forgot who he was.
He forgot who he was. Look, I don't think. Look, I think I'm actually one of those fathers trying to fight the over-feminization of young males, because I think it's dangerous. My son was born in the UK. He went to a school with no male role models, no male teachers. He was taught that being a male is wrong, running around rough and tumble is wrong, and so forth. So we breed a range of sissies. And I don't want that. You know, I really want boys to be boys. I want boys to not be afraid to be boys. And I think young ladies love young boys who are actually boys. And, you know, this over-preaching that men should not be men, I think is wrong, personally, as a father.
And quick question. Let me just throw something at you. So what, do you speak to your boy about sex, you know, men's health?
Look, I don't speak about sex. I mean,
how old is your boy?
He watches enough porn to do about sex.
How old is your boy?
How old is he? He's 16 now. I'm not ridiculous. But you know what? About sexual health issues and stuff, you know, prostate cancer, etc. I wish I did. But you know, I'm not raising a retard. Go on the internet, goddammit. I'm paying for the net, right? Like, learn. You know what I mean?
Seguro Google.
Seguro Google.
So you're leaving your son to be schooled by the internet?
I'm leaving my son to do exactly what my daddy did. Is that like, you know what? Go look at Playboy, but don't let me catch you, right? You gotta be a boy. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we allow young males to be sissies, we're gonna get ourselves in a situation where the country is attacked and everyone's gonna be like, oh, I need a safe space. All the microaggressions.
However, Maemba, I agree 110% with Kuda on letting the boys be the boys.
Work at Playboy?
However.
Don't let me catch you looking at Playboy.
However,
God damn it.
let's be the fathers of today that can have some sort of locker room chat, a very quick one. You know the coach doesn't tell you much. He just says, I come from a sporting world, you know. He doesn't really say, 20 press-ups, No.
Hold up.
He will tell you in a way that you will understand. And I look at the guys in the security sector. They don't need commands every day. They know.
But how do you deal, guys? We're living in a very different generation. We've got young boys that are raised by single moms. They don't have the father figure in their lives.
This is not unique.
Just hold up.
Young males were raised by single mothers.
I was raised by my mother.
Listen, young males in 100 years ago were raised by more single mothers than today. Why? Because there was pestilence, there was wars. And males still have a lower, life expectancies than females. This is all fact. After this, 15 million young males died in the Second World War. What are you talking about, man? We are in a space where women are going to raise men. And women are the custodians of our cultures. They're custodians of masculinity even. So learn to be a man, goddammit.
Exactly. Wait. In as much as women are raising these young men and making them warriors,
yes.
Is it not the reason why we're then saying that you find men with more mental issues because they're not allowed to cry and break down?
Who doesn't allow them to cry?
Who doesn't
They
allow?
can cry, but they cry in the locker. This is what we want to teach our children. When you are a man, you are going to cry. You are going to face issues tomorrow, but you got to be able to stand up for those issues and face them. We have issues right now, Maimba. We have, we have very difficult economical issues right now. You know what? When you get home, you want to think of touching your wife. You think twice. Do you know why?
Why?
Because you can fail to launch because you're thinking hard. And that's a mental issue.
Oh, come on, guys. Come on. So you want to blame failing to launch on you thinking too much about other things.
It is a fact. Because it's a mental issue. Is
this erectile dysfunction?
Yes, it's a mental issue.
Because we need to make sure we all understand what failing to launch is all about.
What is that? I don't know about that.
You don't know what erectile dysfunction is?
I don't know.
I do know that Pfizer has Viagra.
You're a man, right?
I'm a man, but I've never experienced it.
Guys, look.
Oh, man, says the DJ.
Guys, I feel in my heart, guys, that if we allow this Europeanization of masculinity, which is over-feminized, we are going to suffer. They have managed to, they sent us Cecil John Rose to come here and colonize Africa. Then they tell you when you're just about to get into industrialization, be sissies and cry? Come on.
Can I say something, Maimba, before we go? No, hold up. I really need to say this. I'm a cultural guy. Yeah. I'm the modern representation of culture. You understand?
Tell us.
Here's what I'm telling you. Back in the day, we had guys that. Back in the day, we had guys that would find ways. I'm talking particularly about this erectile dysfunction issue that you guys want to play down.
I'm not playing it.
Yeah, hold up.
Playing it down, I get it. These are funny. These guys should be comedians.
So we had ways and structures of doing this. Can I finish this?
Okay.
We had ways and structures of handling this kind of problem. So when you have a challenge like that, somebody would come and assist you. They give you whatever they give you to make sure that you don't fail to launch. You understand? But in the process, they will also try and give you time to speak out your mind, your mentality, and whatever it is that you're feeling. But this is not done the way we want to do it now. So, okay, we got to get Tete Becky, Tete Natasha to come here and sit and talk to you about your masculinity. What do they know about those things?
They won't stay.
We need men today to stand up and raise other men.
I can't get over these
men to continue the generation.
These erectile puns. Men have to stand up. I love it.
A real issue.
All right, okay, listen. Okay, but let's it's a pity maybe at another program or so we can then talk about
the reason why young males are committing suicide more than any other demographic in this world right now is because over this past couple of decades they are over-feminizing. Now I'm not saying being feminine is a bad thing, but it's a bad thing for a young male to be over-feminized. It's a very bad thing from a young lady to be over-masculinized, right? And I think just as a society, we should look at ourselves right now with the blunt face of just being able to agree that we cannot try and...
Who's the society?
And why does every man have to be strong though?
Because we're men.
No. Why does every man have to be strong? Why can't a man be in touch with this softer side?
When you know what, we are in touch with our softer side when we are alone. Do you get it? So we can have this. I can come to you guys and be weak with you and tell you, you know what? I cannot. On a modern day, I'm struggling, guys. I cannot make enough money to please my woman, to take care of my children. I am here. I'm being vulnerable. But when I get home, I say, you know what, baby? I got this.
I got this.
Why can't you?
You gotta show some confidence.
Why can't you break down in front of your wife in your bedroom?
No.
Hold up. No. It's okay to cry.
You cry? To who? In front of your wife?
It's my partner.
Chuck, do you cry?
I've done it before.
Is she then confident that you're in charge? And if a robber comes, you're gonna handle it?
Guys, like you said, yeah, we can be all macho right now, yeah? But we're all going home later on tonight, guys. I'm just saying, it's okay to cry.
About that.
Let's not try and be all masculine like Kuda is saying. It's okay, we're human beings. We all have emotions, yeah? When we're like in confidence, we can huddle and whisper to each other like, guys, I'm failing to launch like he said. But when we are with our partners, it's always like, you get me? But we had that conversation. That's the soft part of being a man. We're allowed to be soft.
Chuck. All right. Vendor-in-chief, Chief Kotsi.
The chief of the vendors. The vendor-in-chief.
All right, gentlemen. Too much testosterone going on in the studio. Thank you. Oh, man, I can feel the tension already. And obviously, as men, everybody will want to just not cry. But as we are here today talking about men issues, talking about those mental issues, I want to say to you, if you feel like crying, cry.
I told you, Chuck. To sell out.
We're going to go out. We're going to be back. We're going to be back in the third segment, talking more about men's issues right here at Kutsime. Asihlanganeni. Let's chat.
Hey guys, what's happening? Kutsime, what's kicking? It's DJ Mox, and shout out to you guys for having this conversation. I think it's very, very important, and it's about time this conversation is had. So, I've experienced personal loss, and it did take a toll on my mental health, definitely, like it would anyone. But I think having a strong support system of having friends, I must say I had an incredible support system. Friends, family, also in, having a great, church leaders as well. And, also having like good friends around you. And even at work as well, had a great support from all those people. So I think we need to also look at that and begin to understand, do we have the right kind of structures to support anyone? And this is just across the board, like anyone who is struggling with mental health. When we know someone is struggling, do we have the right kind of setup to actually be able to assist and help? Because a lot of people have even lost their lives because they didn't have the right kind of support, or lost everything. Everything just fell apart because they didn't have the right kind of support system.
Thank you very much and welcome back to Kutsime Asihlanganeni Let's Chat. Most of us, I know, we've watched movies like The Gladiator, we've watched Braveheart, we've watched movies that make men into stoics that will not break down and cry. And this is pretty much how Koda was talking about how raising his son, and Mox there just spoke about his personal loss. He lost 2 of his children, and I know that you worked with him.
Yeah.
And right here we talk about personal stories so that somebody can relate to them. What would you say about what he went through?
Look, it was a difficult time. I was there personally with him. He's one of my good friends as well. And back then, we were very close. So much that when he received the actual call for the first boy, I was with him. And the rest was really dramatic, to say the least. And when a man goes through that, it's tearing, man, you know? And unfortunately, our society has raised us also in a way where you have to still be the guy. You know, what Kuda was saying, the gladiator, Braveheart type of man. Similarly, also, probably within the same period, I also lost a young brother in a very gruesome way. He was murdered. And we had to look for this guy for a whole...
Did you cry?
Did
you cry at the funeral? Did you cry?
No, hear it. We looked for this guy, first of all, because he was missing. Then eventually, we found him, but we found him dead. Yeah. And I was the guy who was here in the country. Everybody else was, outside the country. I first one to see him, he's a youngster. I shed a tear there. But the rest of the times, I was just on the grind to make sure that we get the body cleared, we get the coffins, we take this guy, we bury this guy, and then afterwards...
Hold up.
Afterwards,
hold up. So your brother is murdered gruesomely, and you see him and you shed a tear.
Yes.
You just shed a tear.
Because of the immense responsibility that I'm looking at. It could not allow me to sit down and cry.
That's fine. Do you think that you shedding a tear was how you were raised as a man, that men don't cry?
No, not at all. It's like Kuda was saying, it's a situation that you're faced with. If you cry here, I'm in Gweru in a mortuary that I have never been in. There are 20 other bodies there. I have to identify my young man, and I identify him, and that's all I can do at that moment. All I need to do is I need to get him to a better place, you know?
Okay.
And I need to bury this guy. After the burial, though, that's when you then realize, oh, Lord, I just lost somebody.
Did you find, but you got time to cry?
I tried to give myself time, because people who are in touch with their emotions, who are in touch with their, I don't know, is it masculinity or femininity, whatever. But they are the ones that then said, look, dude, look, it's okay to cry.
Okay, I cried at my wedding. You were there. I cried at my wedding.
You cried?
You know why you're crying?
Of course I cried.
You know why you're crying?
Why was I
You
crying?
cried? Like tears?
No, I cried, of course.
Why?
Well, two things, right? I've been married previously. I'd gone through a really horrible divorce. I mean, I felt like I had lost everything. And this is a moment when, you're overwhelmed with emotions, right? And I cried. And the thing is, my wedding was a tiny one. It was 20 people, but it was being streamed online, right? And
was it during COVID?
Nah, nigga, it was years ago. Anyway, okay. So now it's like, I've got notoriety, you know me as this guy who's snarling on cameras all the time. Why is I cried on tape, right? And I was streaming to like 30,000 people at this time, right? And the thing is, it wasn't a conscious decision to cry or whatever, but it happened because it was an overwhelming swell of emotion. So I totally get that, there's moments and stuff where you're overjoyed or you're happy or you're actually feeling like you're releasing some energy that's been building up for forever. So, if my mama cried, I think if my mama died, I'll cry, of course, right? But I'm saying there's also the time when we are now, this is one makuru wacho. If my mother dies right now, I know that when I get to the spot, people will be looking at me. I'm saying,
it's the responsibility.
There's a huge responsibility, right? We need to let those who are sitting in Zambia cry it out, but but we're gonna have to sort out the burial order. We're gonna have to sort out the coffins.
Why do the ones sitting on Zambia, which I would take, you're
Because
referring
it's
to women,
culture.
so the women must cry and the men must get on with the business?
Not must. This is the way it is. The women go into the house, they sit and then they
cry.
Don't mariro. I don't say mariro.
Although have you ever seen it like it's like they have to switch it on?
I find that sexist. I mean, I find that sexist.
No, but it's culture.
Why do you then think that the one with the Zambia? Why can't you get the Zambians and cry as well? I mean, why don't you break down? My point is that's a figurative. That's
culturally that's not the way it is.
No, but why can't you cry? Why holding on to a culture that makes you into a man that doesn't cry?
Maimba.
That's my name.
It's not like you don't cry because you must not cry. You don't cry because you are faced with immense responsibility.
It's men like you that absolutely create young men, a generation of men that pretend to be brave, and yet inside they're breaking.
What we are trying to discourage, Maimba, is keyboard warriors. You know, in a time when we need people to stand up
and be warriors,
real warriors,
and our generation
I don't like this Spider-Man type of mentality where, like, you're faced with trouble and then your son is going to go. Spider-Man doesn't exist.
Okay, all right. But tell me something.
I didn't get the Spider-Man analogy, but I understand. I understand the emotion.
Let me move with this a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Besides, of course, they're not crying at funerals and so on, we have a big number of young men that are just abusing drugs because of mental issues, stuff going around in the family.
No.
A tough time
Let's be honest, guys. Honesty is a beautiful thing.
It's a tough time. There are no jobs.
No.
All right.
Do you know why?
There's no employment. What does a young man do?
Whether you have a job or not doesn't stop cocaine from being lacquer. And I mean lacquer in quotation marks. People get addicted to things because they feel nice, they taste nice. Good thing, bad things for you are addictive.
And they're easy.
They're easy, right? So let's agree to why people are abusing drugs. They're too available, right? People are not actually dealing with the real issue about why people are abusing alcohol. It's nice to feel drunk, you feel tipsy, it feels like, right? So let's deal with the real issues.
Well, I wouldn't know, but...
I'm telling you, right? So there's actually...
I just know how coffee tastes.
Well, you're addicted to the caffeine, right? It makes you feel good. It makes you, it kills the endorphins in your head. These guys.
Beck and Natasha.
Back to the deal, right? So we're dealing with, right now, kids are bored, there's too much availability of these drugs, alcohol and stuff is too cheap. I think the wrong drugs are criminalized, the right ones that need to be criminalized are not criminalized. You know, there's more people are dying out of alcohol than actually, like marijuana, for example, and the world is moving into different spaces where marijuana is being decriminalized, but places like South Africa are banning alcohol during COVID because it takes up so much resources. More people are dying on the roads because of alcoholism, etc., etc. I think it's about also policies morphing with the availability and the cheapness and the making of these drugs. It's a whole other socio-economic story.
I want us to bring up men that understand that things like drugs are not good for real men. When you are a real man, you have other things that are occupying your mind, such as grinding, such as hustling, such as going to school, such as making your country work for you.
But
such as, you know, why do you want to go to the corner and get high?
How does one work for their country when they've gone to school, they've had a university degree, they've got a master's, but they can't get a job?
Retrain. You see, because in my day and age, I used to think I was a rapper. Remember, Chuck? You used to rap?
You used to rap?
Yeah, I used to rap.
I saw one piece of yours. You did some...
but
you still rap?
No, listen, I grow vegetables now.
You rap with Chuck?
Yeah. Well, I used to rap.
Imagine what kind of track would come out of that.
But here's the deal. Here's the deal. I think we are in an old paradigm of wanting to go to university, be an accountant, etc., etc. I believe that in the space that we're in as a country, we're going to have to go into more productive stages. Young people are going to have to learn how to grow food. They're going to learn how to manufacture. They're going to have to produce stuff, right? And let's not run away from that. Right? If you want the white-collar job of going into the office and pushing papers into some papers, that paradigm is dead. The biggest millionaires now are writing code. Learn how to code. I assure you someone wants a website. Everyone wants one, right? But you can't say, no, because I'm I've learned to be an accountant. Computers are going to replace you just now. People must change with the paradigms. Young people
this
must.
This is the mindset that we need now for real men.
I grow cabbages.
Real men, if I hear that word again.
No.
I'm not Joda Cyril.
Indota uqobo.
What?
You know what, Maimba? Let's also exactly. Let's encourage boys to be boys that understand that there is a need for you to be in a vulnerable position, right? It's important for you to go through that. But how long do you want to last in that particular space?
So anyway, okay, fine. We've got again.
Grow food. Don't want to be a social influencer. You're not gonna make it as a rapper. Your
social influencer's got loves and likes.
Your YouTube channel is never gonna feed your family. Likes. Grow up, be a man, and stop being delusional.
30,000 likes. Who doesn't want likes? Okay. So one of the things that I didn't get that one, but anyway, one of the things that is really, really real is that we've got a society where we might find that more women are the breadwinners. Okay. Women are the ones that are bringing the bread home. Women are the ones that are knocking doors with their foreheads because their hands are heavy laden. And the man is sitting in the house on the couch watching soccer, DSTV, that's been paid by the woman.
These are the kind of men we don't want to have, Maimba, going forward. We are in this quagmire as a country because of these men.
Because of these sissies.
No, we don't want them.
It's okay.
No. We don't want. Stand up. Do something. Go and grow some food. Go and learn something new. You know what, men.
But is it
during my father's time, my brother, they would go in the factories and.
Listen, we've got men whose manhood has been emasculated because they are not able. Again, I go back. They are not able to get that which some people are not meant to grow food like you. Okay,
I used to be a rapper. I used to what the hell?
Because of situations.
You retrain.
How different is rapping from growing food?
Adaptability.
It's very different. Extremely different. Adapt.
Men know how to adapt.
Okay, then there are men that are not able to adapt. All they are is they were born to work, to go into the office, to be bankers, to be teachers, to be doctors. Just wait, guys.
Thank you, my brother.
Wait. That's what they were born to do, right? And they're not able to get the job. Now, the mental stress that these men have to go through when the wife is the one who's bringing everything.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Second World War. I alluded to it in the second segment. 15 young men went out to war and were in trenches blowing each other up over men's egos. However, the Industrial Revolution carried us forward because the women went into the factories and took over that incredible role of industrializing what we know as the Western world today, right? Young men need to understand that the world is not waiting for them to be great rappers or social media pushers or movie stars or social influencers. The world is waiting for them to be productive like their forefathers and their forefathers before them. Contribute to the upbringing of your community.
You talk about the Industrial Revolution, and we also need to be alive to the fact that everything has changed. We've got, like you said, you spoke about rapping. We've got young Zimbabwean rappers, people that are rapping right now.
Stop.
Right? We've got music. Stop what?
Stop
singing? Stop singing?
Yeah.
What? And go grow cabbages?
Join me in the Munda.
No.
Grow cabbages.
Here's the thing, Maimba.
Why?
I am here.
We can't all go grow cabbages.
Becky, over here.
If you say that one more time.
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
You show you he's a real man.
Yeah, I'm just saying though. Not everybody needs to go into the moon and grow cabbages, but is it working for you as a rapper right now?
No,
it's not.
And you
so
know
you need to do something that works.
Well, what did our fathers do when they were fed up of unemployment and subjugation? They went into the woods and got guns and they actually took over this country. That's what they did.
You know what?
I know we gotta go.
You know what?
Really,
I'm gonna shut this down. I'm absolutely gonna shut this down right now.
Be young men, but young men need to be productive.
As always.
Young Maimba. One point before we go, young Maimba.
I'm older than you.
Come on, young Maimba.
No, you're not.
Becky.
Who were you
We're not using,
thinking?
we're not
Who were
using
you
heights. We're not using height or weight.
Here's the thing, my
No,
man.
it doesn't work that way. We use age.
Here's the real truth.
Can I shut this down?
Picking up from what
I
Chuck
need to
said.
bring the
Yeah,
owners
I
of the
know,
program back.
They need to come back, but before they come back, because we're the man. Before they come back. Before they come back, what Chuck alluded to, you don't have to go kumunda physically, anditi kunorima, but you need to have the mentality. Yekuti, I have this thing that I'm doing right now, anditi. What is my side hustle? What is my side hustle? What am I doing? He's doing Munda, but I will tell you that he's not only invested in Munda. Yes. Because Munda onongona kumuga mangwana wacha. Wese, wapera, he's not insured, he's not whatever. Paninyaya. And what is he going to fall back on? And this is what we need to remind our young men out there. This is what we need to inculcate in our young men, to be able to have your own side deal. I am a PR professional, right? I'm busy here telling people, come to Zimbabwe, the world of wonders. When I'm done with that, I go back home. I wake up at 2 a.m. and I plan.
To do what? What do you do?
I think
What
about
do you plan?
things to do, man, to make money.
What do you do? Yeah.
I am a very eloquent speaker.
Okay.
All right?
I am a very talented broadcaster, right? These are skills that I have on the other side that I make money off. So I go and I MC weddings, unless if it's COVID-19 that has really messed up my income, by the way. But, you know,
what's your last point? What's your last point?
My last point is
in 15 seconds, what do you want to say?
As I have been also growing with Koti over the few years, he's one of the people we do wake up at 2 a.m. and we do guide ourselves to how do we learn to be better speakers? How do we learn to be better businessmen? I'm a very uneducated man, if it's not for the YouTube channels that I constantly watch to improve myself, to learn how to grow cabbages with my wife. You know, we have to learn and evolve, because I know I'm not going to be a great rapper. I've never sold records, but I'm selling thousands and thousands of cabbages a day. No, I'm selling thousands a day, and I'm an industry leader now, and I was never that 2 years ago. And I can tell you now, my young wife would have starved if I had wallowed and been a sissy.
And should have left you, bro.
Of course.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. My young wife would have starved.
On top of that, you'd have failed to launch.
I would have failed to launch.
I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna close this. I'm not gonna talk about failure to launch.
Let's give the show back to the ladies.
Let's give it back to the show, to the ladies.
Thank you for having us.
This is not our show, Zimbabwe. Thank you for having
us, guys.
In your homes. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you. My name is Maimba, spelled M-A-I-M-B-A, and this is
Chief Koti Roribonga Manda irdo wananga maduba anotera wena dubala budde ndibafuna zone. Nda.
And on my left, we've got
Kodakwashe. I am the vendor-in-chief of freshenerbox.co.zw for all your vegetable needs, baby. I got you.
We need to charge this guy.
Charge me.
Thank you very much.
Well, this is the final segment of today's episode. You know, I'm like literally overwhelmed. I thought we were going to come and sanitize the table and all of that, but I am like literally soaking in the vibes that these gentlemen had. I learned so much. Like, I will never disrespect a man again. They go through so much. I'm just like, yo.
Unless they're asking for it.
Oh, honey poo poo. Honey poo poo. God damn it!
Well, personally, before you know, when we initially started the show, I was like, no, let's let the boy child cry. It's allowed. We're too hard on them. But after hearing Honey Boo Boo, aka Kuda, you know, he took me to a sore point where I lost my brother 6 years ago, who was talented in every aspect. Okay, he had a car accident on my birthday. And our whole family was just so distraught. And I recall when we got to the hospital, you know, they were saying, he's stable, he's stable. So I was like, what does stable mean? He's going to be okay. You know, we're going to see each other after this. And then,
oh man, don't cry.
I recall my dad being so broken, but at the same time, he led all of us. You know, he was the leader in every aspect of that day, even though he was the broken one. So I guess, guys, you gotta be tough.
But for a certain period, like Chief Koti said, he says, yeah, it's allowed to show that, you know, you've got emotions, but you know, guma somewhere. Don't take it. On the other hand, Mayimba had valid points.
Yeah, definitely. He was really pro for mental health awareness for the guys, and I feel like he really did. I hope he did shed a lot of light to the guys out there that it's okay. You can go get help. You can want to just be mentally stable for yourselves and for whoever you are with at the current time.
All right, and so that's it from us and the crew behind the scenes. Follow us on our social media pages at Kutsime, on Instagram at Kutsime Talk Show, on Facebook, Kutsime We Meet, We Talk, and on Twitter, Kutsime S. And did I leave anything out? Oh, yeah. Chucks. Oh, yeah, Chucks. Yeah. How was it having the guys?
I'm speechless. I'm still, like you said, I'm still absorbing it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So next time, they might come back. I'm just saying, it's a man's world.
Not anytime soon.
And the women lead. All right, guys, until next time, be safe, be good. Chucks,
check
us out.